Hi, welcome to the Reforest America Fund YouTube channel. Today we will be discussing the history and impact of the Endangered Species Act, one of the most important environmental acts in American history. Let's begin. For decades, animals in America have been exploited, killed, and had their homes destroyed. It may be hard to believe, but it used to be worse than it is today. Before 1973, animals were allowed to be hunted and exploited without restriction. But after years of conservation efforts, the Endangered Species Act was signed into law, protecting all animals whose livelihoods were threatened. And up until 2026, where the Trump admin completely gutted the act in an attempt to sell the homes of these amazing creatures for profit, endangered animals were kept safe from humans and their greed. In this video, we will discuss the different animals protected by this act and how this act saved them from complete extinction. Let's begin. For our first story today, we will be discussing the story of the black-footed ferret. Black-footed ferrets are mustelids that live in the Midwestern and Western United States on prairie land. The story behind the black-footed ferret actually starts a few years before the Endangered Species Act was signed into law. As a byproduct of the near wiping out of prairie dogs, the prey of the ferret, and funnily enough also the roommates of the ferret, the black-footed ferret was declared extinct in 1979 until it was rediscovered in 1981 by a Wyoming ranch dog. Immediately, a scurry to protect the animal began. After a chaotic rescue effort, including multiple ferrets dying in captivity due to disease and mishandlement by the scientists, the black-footed ferret is at its most stable population in decades. This is thanks to them being preserved by the Endangered Species Act and conservationists across America. The American alligator. The American alligator is an animal that many of you will already be familiar with. The iconic American reptile was once at great risk of being extinct. The Everglades, the American alligator's home, is one of the most biologically unique areas in the entire North American continent. Unfortunately, a large majority of the American alligator's home, the Everglades, were heavily exploited in the 20th century. The area was partially drained, constructed over, and the alligators themselves were killed for being dangerous and called pests. On top of this, alligator skin was a popular trend in the fashion industry around the same time. All of this culminated in the iconic alligator being declared as endangered in the 1950s. Conservation acts locally helped save the animal from extinction, but the Endangered Species Act stopped the destruction of their homes and heavily discouraged hunting. Now, the American alligator is thriving today with an estimated population of over 5 million. Thanks to wildlife conservationists, along with the Endangered Species Act, we no longer need to worry about losing this amazing reptile. The northern sea otter. Talking about a much more cute and cuddly animal than the American alligator, the sea otter is known for being an adorable but incredibly resourceful animal. Able to use tools and be proficient swimmers, otters are incredibly unique mammals. It may be hard to believe, but these mustelids were hunted to near extinction in the early 1900s. It took until 1911, where only an estimated 2,000 otters existed, where action was taken. The Northern Pacific Fur Seal Treaty protected these cuddly creatures from their biggest threats, poaching for their expensive fur and hunting by angry fishermen who saw their existence as a threat to their livelihoods. Later on, the Endangered Species Act helped keep these animals federally protected. Today, the sea otter still faces threats like most American animals, but they are in a much more stable population than they were just a few decades ago. For our last story today, we will be discussing the bald eagle. When you are talking about iconic American animals, the bald eagle is one of the first to come to mind. Living in the skies across almost all of North America, it is hard to find a bird more synonymous with America than the bald eagle. The plight of the bald eagle started with the use of DDT as an insecticide nationwide. DDT, unknown for its effects at the time around the 1940s, is an extremely poisonous and deadly insecticide that was sprayed all across America on crops and gardens across the entire continent. This chemical greatly affected bald eagles, especially concerning their eggs, which were made so weak and thin that many populations of bald eagles simply couldn't reproduce. At their lowest, there were only 417 breeding pairs in the entire northern continent. Now, thanks to the crucial Endangered Species Act, the bald eagle population has shot up to an estimated of 72,000, a far cry to their hardest times. Now, while all these stories are great and inspiring, American animals are under the greatest threat they have experienced in decades. Just a few days ago from the time of writing this video, the Trump administration has gutted and effectively killed the Endangered Species Act by redefining the word harm to exclusively mean direct harm to the animals themselves. The door is now wide open for the homes of these important and unique animals to be completely destroyed. Understandably, this is a massive blow to American conservation. Thankfully, not all hope is lost. Multiple conservation organizations are suing to hopefully restore this act and to stop the damage before it is too late. I will leave the links to some of these organizations below. I highly encourage you to support them however you can. The fight for conservation never ends, and with your support, we can save these endangered animals. I hope you have enjoyed my first video on this channel. If you want to see more videos like this, then I ask that you like and subscribe for more.